More often, I discover God and Jesus outside the church. When I was working as a mental health support worker, I used to visit a young man living in a tower block in a rough area of Edinburgh. We'd just sit and drink tea and talk. His flat had been broken into 3 times. He'd been beaten up by a gang who said he was gay. Every day was hard. He'd had a job long ago in a museum, but had a nervous breakdown and ended up homeless, then trapped in the system. He did a lot on top of the list of all the plain everyday things just to survive. One thing he'd do was go to charity shops and buy cheap reproductions of paintings with a portion of his gyro money. His flat was full of masterpieces: Monets, Van Goghs, Michelangelos, Seurat's, Chagall's, Vermeer's, Rembrandt's. Underneath, the walls were peeling and watermarked, punched and kicked in by previous tenants. The walls out in the corridor were all graffitied and echoed when you walked in them, like the building was vacant of soul. There were needles and syringes and empty bottles lying in corners. He'd burn incense in winter to cover up the moldy, damp smell in his flat. The smell of incense helped put him in a better place, he said. Another thing he'd do was go to the Hermitage, a woods nearby. He explained that some days he felt too surrounded by concrete and grayness. He'd go sit in the cathedral of trees for a few hours, walk the quiet paths, look at the wildflowers. He mentioned that he used to go to church once, years ago. He didn't now. Church is for rich people, he said. His church was his paintings and walking in the woods at the Hermitage. When I asked him why he collected paintings and took walks in the Hermitage, he thought a moment and said, "It's the way I keep hope alive."